Hi folks, and welcome back to Meaningful Money. Okay, I'm still here in my muddy field outside of Ludgvan, little village with Mounts Bay in the Mounts Bay, St Michael's Mount in Mounts Bay behind me. Still a freezing cold March Sunday afternoon, so let's crack on and I can get back in the warm. We've looked at cash flow for the last two videos. Firstly, how to sort of get control of what it is that you're spending. Last time we did the screencast, remember, and looked at how to plan ahead rather than be reactive. Instead of just wondering where all your money went, it's actually to plan where it will go. So I'm just going to round up this time and just sort of show you how important this is. It's another screencast, but this time it's using a system called MoneyScope, which was written by my good friend Richard Allam, actually. It's a cash flow modeling system. It's a means of projecting forward your financial situation using investment returns and inflation, and just a looking ahead, really. Okay, it is, like all these tools, at best educated guessing, because we've no idea, of course, what's really going to happen in the future, but I use this all the time with clients and they find it really helpful. And what I'm going to do is to look at three scenarios to show you the importance of cash flow at all times of life. So the first one is going to be sort of building wealth. You know, say your 30s and 40s, you're building your wealth, and then at the point at which you're looking to retire, secondly, and then thirdly, it's when you're in retirement. Will you run out of money or not? So I'm going to look at those three scenarios, and hopefully that'll be helpful. So I'm going to switch to the screencast now. See you later. Okay, so this is our first scenario. This is a young chap, age 37. He has 5,000 quid to his name, and all I'm going to show you here is his income is 24,000 a year. That's his net income, so he's bringing in net a couple of £1,000s a month, and he's spending less than he earns. He's basically saving 200 quid a month, and all I'm going to do is just show you what that means and what that will do to his wealth. Oh, that's a pretty positive scenario. Let's just take it to his age 65. Got sliders here at the top. One is the sort of length of the scenario, one is what return he's going to get on his investment, and the rate of inflation as well. So we can just adjust these sliders and make a difference. But as one would expect, because he is spending less than he is earning, his income, his wealth rather, goes up. And you know, if he's putting that money away as time goes on, if I say, you know, if he continues putting that money away until he's 47, so 10 years, then he will have £36,000 just or thereabouts in the bank, and that's in today's money. So you know, that makes perfect sense. He's spending less than he earns, and so his wealth is increasing. Okay, now here's what happens if he spends £100 more than is coming in every month. As logic would suggest, his the value of his savings that he started with 5,000 goes down every year because he's dipping into his savings every year, and it runs out in about 4 years' time. And so what happens then? Well, he's either got to adjust his spending, or he starts borrowing on credit cards and things like that. So nothing I've shown you there is anything other than common sense. So let's make it a little bit more complex now and show you the benefit of cash flow. Okay, so this is quite a bit later in life. This is Mr. Money again. He's 64 though now. He's married, and he and his wife have managed to amass £200,000 worth of savings and investments. So that's a pretty useful amount of money, you'd think. That doesn't include pension funds. That's liquid money he can get his hands on. Now, Mr. Money and his wife are wondering whether they can afford for him to retire. And it all comes down to their income and their expenditure. Now, without spending too long on this, I've set it so that his salary continues for another 2 years and he retires when he's 66. And then his wife's state pension, her old age pension, is already in payment. His pension will kick in next year, and he's also got a personal pension. So his income is going to drop significantly from 40,000 a year while he's working. Their combined income is going to be about 17,500. with state pensions and personal pensions. And they're going to carry on spending what they are now, which is £3,000 a month, £36,000 a year. And that's what this looks like. So for the first couple of years, his or their wealth is increasing because they've still got his salary coming in and they're spending less than that. But at the point at which his salary stops and they carry on spending what they are at the moment, they can see their wealth decrease because they're having to dip into their savings to fund their spending. That's never a good scenario, and we can see here that based on these assumptions of investment return and inflation, they're going to run out of money when Mr. is aged 78. So what difference does it make if they spend a little bit less in retirement? Well, here's the same scenario with them spending just £2,000 a month. They've had a discussion. They understand that they can trim their expenses down and still live well on £2,000 a month, and so that's what they decide they're going to set their budget at in retirement. And look, they're still dipping into their capital a little bit, but nowhere near as fast, and it looks like now their money will last till they're 97 or so. So chances are it will see them out, and the difference simply is their spending. They've realized that if they want to retire and never run out of money, then they're going to need to spend less. Common sense, I know, but this is the power of cash flow forecasting. Remember, all financial planning comes down to income and outgoings. Okay, here's our final scenario. Somebody in later life, age 75, and as you can see from the chart here, they're doing pretty well. They're spending a little bit more than is coming in, and so they are drawing off their capital. But that's okay because there's £200,000 in the pot, so they can afford to spend more than is coming in pure income. And they, pootle along no problem until about age 85, and something happens. And what happens is that they unfortunately need to go into long-term care, into a residential home of some kind, and their outgoings increase significantly. And we can see that within 5 or 6 years after going into care, they've essentially run out of money, and so what would happen then is they would need to sell their home. Hopefully you can see the benefit of cash flow planning. Okay, back to me back in that muddy field. Okay, hopefully that demonstrates just how much cash flow makes all the difference at every stage of life. It will either help you, in fact it will enable you to achieve financial planning success, or it will disable you from doing so. It's that important. If there's one discipline that will help you to get wealthy and stay wealthy, it's not making sure you buy a lottery ticket every Saturday and Wednesday or whatever. It's not doing the pools. It's not get rich quick property scams. It is this simple task of monitoring and managing your cash flow. It is that important. Best way to get rich is slowly and carefully and in control. Sure, we'd all like a lottery win, but that happens to hardly anybody. But this is the surefire way of enabling your own financial planning success. So I hope that's been helpful. Next time I'm going to look at ethics, ethical investing specifically. That's a very broad term actually. Green investing, ethical investing, and just look at what that means and whether that might be something you might be interested in. So thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.